Good evening, children. Welcome to AIMS India's online session, Biology. We are discussing about the nutrition, the food supplying system, the first lesson. In this lesson, so far we have studied about the different concepts, the steps involved in the photosynthesis, the basic concept we have learned till now. But the today's class is very important. So today we are going to learn about the mechanism of photosynthesis. Means definition of photosynthesis, equation of photosynthesis, and the factors affecting photosynthesis, everything we have studied. But actual physiology of photosynthesis we are going to study. So in the last class we concluded our class with the photosynthesis involves the process of photosynthesis takes place in 3 steps, or it involves 3 steps which occur in 2 phases. One is light phase, another one is dark phase. The 3 main steps are absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. The second step is splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. The light energy is converted into chemical energy, that is the light phase or photochemical phase. And the second phase is carbon dioxide is reduced to form carbohydrate. Okay, let us proceed. So listen carefully and understand the concept. Very important topic we are dealing today, the process of photosynthesis. The photosynthesis takes place in 3 steps which are broadly divided into 2 types of processes, namely light reactions which require the light, and the dark reactions which are independent of light, which do not require light. So which all these 2 phases involves 3 main steps. The first one is absorption of light energy by chlorophyll. The second step is splitting of water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. The light energy is converted into chemical energy. And the third step, that is carbon dioxide is reduced to carbohydrate. These are the 3 main steps which takes place in 2 phases. What are they? Light phase and dark phase. So in a general opinion, light phase means which occur in the presence of light, but dark phase means which occur during night time. That is wrong opinion. Dark phase means which is independent of light, because in order to undergo a chemical reaction it requires energy. In light reaction, solar energy is the main source of energy, but in the dark reaction the assimilatory powers or the end products which are formed in light reaction are utilized in the dark reaction. So let us see how the process will proceed. First, light reactions. So light dependent reactions were discovered by Robert Hill, hence they are also called Hill's reactions. All the reactions involved in this phase together called as photochemical phase, they require light to proceed. So there are 3 main steps in the light dependent reactions. The step number 1, the chlorophyll on exposure to light energy, it becomes activated by absorbing photons. Okay, so what happens here, you know, most of the plants, they display their leaves or they expose their leaves towards the light. So when the light falls on the leaf, the light particles are called photons. The energy present in the light particles is called quanta or quantum energy. QUANTA, quanta energy. Okay, so the energy present in the photons is called the quantum energy. So that is observed by the chlorophyll, and the chlorophyll molecule gets excited when it is in the ground state. As soon as the light particles touches it, it gets excited. Next step. Step number 2. The energy present in the photons is used in splitting the water molecule. The energy present in the photons is used in splitting the water molecule into two component ions named as hydrogen ion and hydroxyl ion. This process is called photolysis of water. Photolysis means not the breaking of light. Photolysis of water means in the presence of light, the water molecule splits into H plus and OH minus ions. So here it can be represented in the form of an equation. For example, 2H2O gives rise to 4H plus. So here the splitting of water molecule is taking place in the presence of light excited chlorophyll. Means the light is not directly splitting the water molecule here. The light which is present in the chlorophyll molecule is splitting the water molecule into 4H plus 4OH minus. Here we cannot mention directly the OH minus directly. The oxygen is released, and the 4 electrons are produced during this reaction. Means the water molecule is breaking down into electrons and protons, 4E minus. Okay, this is the equation. 2H2O gives rise to 4H plus O2. Okay, here directly 4H plus mentioned. So if it is not, you can also mention it as a 2H plus 2OH minus. Okay, so the hydrogens, the water molecule is split into hydrogen and hydroxyl ions. This is the overall equation. Instead of two equations, I have represented it in one equation. So it is a balanced equation representing the photolysis of water. 2H2O gives rise to 4H plus O2. Oxygen is released during this process, and 4E minus electrons. Okay, so this process is called photolysis of water. It was explained by Robert Hill, hence this reaction is also called as Hill's reaction. Okay children, and the step 3, what happens means, in the chloroplast, the membrane system is responsible for trapping the light energy and also for the synthesis of energy molecules. The end products of light reaction are formed here, ATP and NADPH. How they are formed means, actually these electrons are absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule because they are in excited state. So they come back to the normal state, but these protons are accumulated. So these protons will start moving from one thylakoid membrane to another thylakoid membrane. And we also studied that there are reaction centers are present in the chloroplast. They are named as photosystem 1 and photosystem 2. So these protons, when their concentration increases, they start moving from one photosystem to another photosystem, or one thylakoid membrane to another thylakoid membrane, or from grana to stroma. During their movement, they are observed by these compounds. Okay, these special compounds, they are present already in the biological system. So these nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide phosphate and ADP, adenosine diphosphate, these are the molecules which are already present. So during this light reaction, what happens means phosphorylation takes place, means addition of the phosphate group takes place in the presence of that protons. NADP plus, it is in oxidized state, plus symbol indicates the oxidized state. So oxidation and reduction concept you studied in your lower class, in the 9th class itself. What is oxidation? Oxidation is nothing but the removal of hydrogen or removal of electrons is called oxidation. Okay. So here it is in oxidized state, it gets reduced to NADPH2. The 2 H plus ions are added, observed by this compound. Okay. So these are called electron acceptors. Here don't in the biological system, a charged particle, that's all. Don't get confused between H plus means proton, E minus means electron, like that. Okay. In the biological system, the electrons means a charged particle. So here the NADP plus H plus gives rise to, plus 2H plus gives rise to NADPH2. Okay. So these electron acceptors in the reduced state gets oxidized. Okay. And here reduction of this electron acceptors, they are in oxidized state, plus symbol indicates that they are in the oxidized state. So they get reduced by accepting the hydrogens to form NADPH2. So a series of oxidation and reduction reactions takes place during the biochemical reactions. Okay children, so this is the light reaction. So how ATP is formed means, ATP is also formed in the presence of sunlight. The ADP, adenosine diphosphate, gets combined with one inorganic phosphate. IP means inorganic phosphate, in the presence of light, in the presence of light. So to form ATP. So this process is called as phosphorylation. As this process is taking place in the presence of light, it is called photophosphorylation. So what are the end products of light reaction? Oxygen, ATP and NADPH2. Let us proceed. Dark reaction. Second phase is the dark phase. This is also called the light independent phase. This phase is also called biosynthetic phase. As this reaction does not require any light, it is also called dark phase. And this phase was discovered or explained by Melvin Kelvin. Hence it is also called Kelvin cycle also. During this dark phase, the H plus ions produced in the photolysis are immediately picked up by the special compounds NADP to convert into NADPH. Already this process takes place in the thylakoid membranes itself. After the formation of this NADPH and ATP, they enter into the stroma. Light reaction takes place in which part of the chloroplast? Grana of the chloroplast, where the reaction centers present. In the thylakoid membranes, the light reaction takes place. Whereas grana, from that, the next phase is dark phase, occur in the stroma or matrix of the chloroplast. In the dark reaction or dark phase, the hydrogens of the NADPH is used to combine it with carbon dioxide by utilizing the ATP energy and to produce glucose. So this process is called carbon fixation. Actually, it doesn't occur in a single reaction. So several series of reactions takes place. Several enzymes participate in this dark reaction. So the stroma is the site of several biocatalyst enzymes which help in the process of this carbon fixation reaction. The main event which takes place in the carbon fixation reaction is the carbon dioxide is converted to glucose. Okay, carbon dioxide is converted to glucose. So this synthesis occur in a number of steps using certain special enzymes. Finally, glucose which is formed is converted to starch. Okay, so how the glucose is formed means I will tell you in brief, because you will study this in your higher class in the intermediate. So what happens means here the carbon dioxide first combines during carbon fixation. Carbon dioxide will form the phosphoglyceric acid. Phosphoglyceric acid. That phosphoglyceric acid is converted to glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, and the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate undergoes the series of reaction and finally forms the glucose. Okay, a series of some 8 reactions takes place in this, which was explained by Melvin Kelvin. So that's why this reaction is also called as a Kelvin cycle. Okay, dark reaction, carbon fixation reaction, Kelvin cycle, all these are same. So once again let us see how the reactions takes place here. So it is a chloroplast. In the chloroplast, the light dependent reaction or light reaction. During this light reaction, photolysis of water takes place. During the photolysis of water in the thylakoid membrane, light reaction. So oxygen is released during this light reaction. So main source of energy for light reaction is sunlight. The splitting of water molecule takes place and the energy rich compound NADPH and ATP are formed. Okay, see how the ATP, this ADP is converted to ATP, that is a process called phosphorylation, and this NADP plus is converted to NADPH. Okay, so that is the reduction of NADP plus, the electron acceptors which are present already in the biological system, in the membrane system of chloroplast. So they accept that H plus ions are protons. So by splitting of water molecules, electrons and protons are released. Protons left over, but the electrons are absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule, and the chlorophyll come back to their normal state. And these protons will pass from one membrane to other membrane, one thylakoid to other thylakoid, and during their passage they are absorbed by the electron acceptors like NADP and converted to, these are called assimilatory powers. NADPH and ATP, they are called as assimilatory powers, which acts as source of energy for dark reaction. The dark reaction or light independent reaction which takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast, during which the carbon dioxide is finally converted to glucose or sugar. Okay children, this is about the photosynthesis, mechanism of photosynthesis. Next, come to heterotrophic nutrition. Autotrophic nutrition is completed. Now heterotrophic nutrition, the mode of nutrition in which organism cannot make its own food from simple inorganic materials and depend on other organisms for its food. They are called heterotrophs, and the nutrition is called heterotrophic nutrition. So there are certain plants which are called non-green plants. So it's already studied in your 7th class. Just to recall it, all non-green plants and animals are heterotrophs. All non-green plants and animals, they are called heterotrophs. So they don't possess chlorophyll, hence they are heterotrophs. Nutrition in animals. The animals are heterotrophs and hence they depend on other organisms like plants and other animals for their food. All the animals can be divided into 3 groups based on the food habits. What are they? Herbivores. This is also you studied in your lower classes. What are herbivores? The animals which feed on plant and their products. Carnivores, the animals which feed on flesh of other animals. Omnivores, which feed on both plant and animal products. Okay. So let us study briefly about, let us recall briefly about the non-green plants. Non-green plants like fungi, okay, fungi, and the parasitic plants, yeast, okay, these are all mushrooms, they are all come under non-green plants. So what type of nutrition, heterotrophic nutrition they possess? So in fungi you will find saprophytic nutrition, where they grow on the dead and decomposing organisms and absorb the nutrients from them. So such type of nutrition is called as saprotrophic nutrition. Next, parasitic plants. The parasitic plants grow on the host plants. For example, Cuscuta or Dodder or Amarbel. So this plant grows on the banyan tree and neem tree as a host, and they absorb the nutrients by sending the special structures, root-like structures called hastoria, which you already studied in your lower classes. You can recall. So parasitic plants are of different types. What are they? Like root parasites, stem parasites, partial root parasites, partial stem parasites, complete root parasites, complete stem parasites. Okay. So like that. So some examples: Cuscuta and mistletoe and Rafflesia, Viscum, Orobanche. These are all the examples of parasitic plants. And another type of nutrition, that is the parasitic nutrition, saprophytic nutrition, and holozoic nutrition. Particularly in animals, there is a holozoic nutrition. The organisms which depend on solid and particulate food materials, or which consume solid and particulate food materials, are called holozoic animals, and the nutrition is called holozoic nutrition. Okay. Let us see the holozoic nutrition in simple animals first, then first in unicellular organisms, then in multicellular organisms. So how do organisms obtain their nutrition? Just now we have discussed it. So those organisms which live inside the body of other organisms called host and obtain its food from the host, they are called parasites. Animal parasites: hookworm, tapeworm, leeches, lice. These are all the examples of this hookworm and tapeworm. They are endoparasites. Leeches and lice are ectoparasites. Okay. Their digestive system is also very simple because they are directly depending on the digested food material. Saprophytic nutrition: the organisms which derives its food from dead and decaying organic matter, okay, they are called saprophytes, and the nutrition is called saprophytic nutrition. These organisms possess certain enzymes which helps them to break down complex food into simple forms. So for example, the bacteria, the yeast and mushroom, they release certain enzymes to break the complex food materials. So after extracellular digestion, it is called. Outside the body of the organism, the digestion is taking place, and then they absorb the nutrients with the help of special structures. Okay. Then holozoic nutrition. Here the organism engulfs the complex food molecules and digest it inside the body. That's why it is called as a, okay, it is also this is also called the extracellular digestion only within the digestive system or alimentary canal in higher complex organisms it is present, whereas in amoeba and paramecium in the food vacuole the digestion of the food is taking place. Okay, so let us see how the nutrition takes place in animals. There are 5 steps involved in the holozoic nutrition. What are those 5 steps? Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. These are the 5 main steps present in the holozoic nutrition. Let us study one by one. What is ingestion? Ingestion means the process of taking food into the body is called as ingestion. For this ingestion of food, the organisms use different types of feeding organs. Okay, for example, amoeba, with the help of pseudopodia, they ingest the food materials. And paramecium, with the help of cilia. Hydra, with the help of tentacles. Human beings, we use our arms. Okay, we use our hands to put the food into our mouth, isn't it? Ingestion takes place with the help of feeding organs. Next, digestion. Digestion is a complex process, the process in which the food containing large insoluble molecules is broken down into small water soluble molecules. This is the definition. Remember, the process in which the food containing large insoluble molecules is broken down into small water soluble molecules is called digestion. This digestion involves hydrolytic enzymes, participation of hydrolytic enzymes. What is the meaning? The enzymes which break these complex molecules by adding a water. So that process is called as hydrolysis. Okay, so hydrolytic enzymes are involved in this process of digestion. We will study further. Next, absorption. Absorption means the process in which the digested food passes through the intestinal wall. Means after the completion of digestion, the digested food is passes through intestinal wall into the bloodstream. It is called absorption. Okay. Next, assimilation. Assimilation means utilization of the digested food materials. The process in which the absorbed food is taken in by the body cells and used for energy production and growth and repair is called assimilation. Okay, utilizing the digestive products, the food materials which are formed after the digestion, utilizing those products for metabolic activities is called the assimilation. Then last one is egestion. Egestion means the process of elimination of undigested food materials from the body is called egestion. It is also called defecation. Okay, so this is the general steps which are involved in the holozoic nutrition in animals: ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and egestion. Let us proceed. Nutrition in simple animals like amoeba and paramecium. So if you take amoeba, it is a unicellular organism, belongs to protozoa. Amoeba takes in food using pseudopodia. Pseudopodia, it is a feeding organ in amoeba, which fuse over the food particles, forming food vacuole. The digestion of food takes place inside the food vacuole. Okay, intracellular digestion. Within the cell, in the food vacuole, the digestion of the food is taking place. Okay. Next, inside the food vacuole, complex substances are broken down into simpler ones because hydrolytic enzymes are present in the food vacuole. After digestion, that will diffuse into the cytoplasm. Okay, almost most of the metabolic activities in amoeba takes place by means of diffusion process. No special organs of respiration, no special organs of excretion. Okay, because it is a primitive organism. So after digestion, the food is diffused into the cytoplasm. The remaining undigested food is also moved to the surface of the cell and thrown out by diffusion. Okay, next, paramecium. So before going to paramecium, let us see once again amoeba. This amoeba is a unicellular organism. So this amoeba possesses pseudopodia. Actually, the pseudopodia is useful for locomotion and also for the capture of food. As soon as the amoeba come across the food, it capture the food by surrounding it. It protrudes or produce the pseudopodia. This pseudopodia surrounds the food material and leads to the formation of food vacuole. Okay, so this is the plasma membrane of this amoeba extends to form the pseudopodia, and after surrounding it completely, it will form a vacuole called a food vacuole. So this food vacuole digests the food material. After digestion, the digested food will diffuses out. Okay, so this process, okay, is called endocytosis. Okay, so this is the process of digestion in amoeba. And if you take paramecium, paramecium is also a unicellular organism. So this paramecium is also called the slipper animalcule. It shows the slipper like in structure when it is observed under the microscope. So its body is covered by a special structures called cilia. Paramecium is a unicellular organism, belongs to protozoa only. It is covered by cilia, and a tuft of cilia are present here, which this structure here, it is called as cytophagy or cytostome. Okay, when it come across the food material, so the food is taken in at the specific spot in paramecium. The food is moved to the spot by the movement of cilia, so which covers the entire surface of the cell. When the food is ingested, the cytostome, the food after ingestion, this is the cytostome. The cytostome, okay, so this cytostome will form the food vacuole. So these food vacuoles will continuously move from like this. This process is called cyclosis. So inside the food vacuole, digestive enzymes are present and the process of digestion takes place. It is also intracellular digestion. After digestion, from the food vacuole, the digested food material will be diffused into the cytoplasm. Okay, intracellular digestion is completed. Digestion in simple animals. Next, come to nutrition in multicellular animals. Multicellular organisms have specialized organ systems to carry out different functions. So a very specific and complex system of nutrition is developed in human beings. So the digestive system is the part of the body through which nutrition takes place in human beings. So the digestive system of human being consists of alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands. So let us study briefly about this digestive system in detail. In the next class we are going to discuss about the human digestive system and the process of digestion. So let us see the parts. Alimentary canal means the parts which are present between mouth to anus. It is the starting point and it is the ending point, anus. The parts, remaining parts together called as alimentary canal. Okay. So the parts of alimentary canal, let us discuss briefly. Mouth, oral cavity where teeth are present, and the oral cavity or buccal cavity it is also called, which consists of tongue, salivary glands and saliva is secreted. The palate is upper floor of the mouth is called as palate. Tongue, teeth and ulva, it is a part of the just above the pharynx. Next, the salivary glands, if you take, there are three pairs of salivary glands are present: parotid, submaxillary and sublingual. Okay, submandibular and sublingual. Next part is pharynx. Pharynx is the junction for both digestive system and respiratory system, where air, water and food passes into the remaining parts by this pharynx only. Okay, then from the pharynx it opens to esophagus. This pharynx one contains a flip like structure, it is called epiglottis. So this epiglottis flip like structure which regulates the entry of different materials, air, water and food. Epiglottis, you studied in your lower class already. Digestive system, human digestive system, epiglottis. Okay, so this epiglottis, when air enters through nose, it closes the pharynx so that the air enters into the windpipe. Okay, that is trachea. And the esophagus, when the food and water, then the epiglottis close the windpipe and opens the food pipe called esophagus. Esophagus is also called a food pipe, long tubular structure. Then it opens into stomach. Before opening this stomach, the stomach is a sac like structure. The food slowly from the stomach enters into the duodenum, and here a valve is present that is called pyloric sphincter. Okay, which allows slowly the food. Then into the duodenum several digestive glands, associated digestive glands are present. They are liver, pancreas, which opens into the duodenum through special ducts. Okay, and in the duodenum the process of digestion, maximum digestion takes place. From the duodenum, the small intestine is divided into mainly three parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Ileum is the largest part, which is having several coiled structures. Okay, 7 meters long, very long. Okay, but small intestine, based on the diameter, we are calling it as small intestine. And next, large intestine. Large intestine is having a width 1.5 meters, so it is called large intestine. But lengthwise, if you take, it is small compared to small intestine. So it consisting of different ascending limb, descending limb, like that. So colon and rectum, these two parts are main, and finally opens into the rectum, opens into anus. This is about the digestive system briefly. In the next class, mouth, how the process of digestion takes place, then esophagus, then stomach, duodenum, in detail we are going to discuss. Okay children, in multicellular organisms, the digestive system, the complicated digestive system is present. Okay, so this is about the today's class, and let us test ourselves mainly regarding the photosynthesis only, the questions given here. Quiz number 3. Are you ready children? Let us answer the questions. Use the diagram to answer the question. Here a diagram is given at the time of explanation. Use the diagram to answer the question. Which molecule is an electron acceptor? Okay, I explained clearly. Which molecule is called an electron acceptor? Okay, here in the diagram, what is the electron acceptor here? I read out NADPH, ATP, ADP, NADP plus. Okay, here the answer is NADPH. Actually, NADP plus must be given, an electron carrier or electron acceptor. Okay, right. Next question. Which product is produced by the splitting of water during light dependent reactions of photosynthesis? Means what are the end products of the light reaction? Which product is produced by the splitting of water during the light dependent reaction of photosynthesis? Okay, here oxygen. So this is also the product only, multi-correct answer. But which product is produced by splitting of water is clearly mentioned. So the water, by splitting of photolysis of water, during that step oxygen is released. So the right answer is B. If water is not mentioned, what are the end products of light reaction means, then you have to select both NADPH and O2. Okay, let us proceed. Where do light dependent reactions occur? Where do light dependent reaction occur? In the thylakoid membrane, or in the stroma, or in the mesophyll, or in the mitochondria? So here three options are closely related according to me, if you study carefully. Thylakoid membrane, stroma and mesophyll. From these three you can select the right option. What is the right option? Yes, grana thylakoids or thylakoid membranes, because light reaction takes place only in the grana. Why not in stroma? Such kind of questions you have to face. Come on, tell me. Why? Because for the light reaction, light energy is required, so that solar energy is trapped by the chlorophyll molecules present in the thylakoid membranes or in the grana region. That's why light reaction takes place in the thylakoid membranes but not in the stroma. So here mesophyll tissue is mentioned. Mesophyll tissue consisting of both palisade parenchyma and sponge parenchyma. Okay, but especially in the mesophyll tissue, chloroplasts are present. In the chloroplast, in the thylakoid membranes, the reaction is taking place. So after reading question, the best choice you have to select. Next, the Kelvin cycle takes place in, what is Kelvin cycle? I am giving clue, dark reaction. Okay, in which part of the chloroplast this Kelvin cycle takes place? Kelvin cycle takes place in the stroma of the chloroplast. Okay, stroma. Why Kelvin cycle occurs only in the stroma? Why not in the grana? Once again you have to justify your answer, because the enzymes which are required for Kelvin cycle are present in the stroma of the chloroplast. That's why Kelvin cycle takes place in the stroma. Okay, children. Next, the core metal of chlorophyll. In yesterday's class, structure of chloroplast. The core metal of the chlorophyll. Chlorophyll containing magnesium. Okay, magnesium is the core metal present in the chlorophyll. Next, Hill's reaction takes place in dark, light, dark and light both at any time. Hill reaction is also called a light reaction. So, it takes place in light only. Okay, children. Photolysis of water takes place in light phase. What is photolysis of water? Breaking of water molecule in the presence of light excited chlorophyll is called photolysis of water. What happens during photolysis of water? Water molecule breaks into H plus and OH minus, and it releases protons and electrons. Along with that, oxygen is released. Who explained or discovered the photolysis of water in plants? Robert Hill. Next, in light reaction, which is formed? Means product of light reaction. ATP, NADPH, oxygen, all of these. What is the right option? Yes, all of these. Okay, because the end products of light reaction are ATP, NADPH and oxygen. This ATP and NADPH are called assimilatory powers, which acts as a source of energy for dark reaction. Okay, children. Next, the radiation energy of light is converted to chemical energy and stored as AMP, ADP, ATP, APP. So, what is the full form of these APP, ADP? ADP means adenosine diphosphate, AMP means adenosine monophosphate, ATP means adenosine triphosphate. Okay, APP is simply to confuse you, it is given. Okay, so what is the energy in the form of ATP? How this energy is produced? By means of phosphorylation. Okay, what is phosphorylation? The process of addition of inorganic phosphate to ADP to form ATP is called phosphorylation. As this process is taking place in the presence of light, it is also called photophosphorylation. Okay, children. So, which of the following method is responsible for ATP production by green plant cells in the presence of sunlight? In the presence of sunlight is given. Okay. So, what is the correct answer here? Phosphorylation, photophosphorylation. So, here different types of phosphorylations are given. Let me explain you briefly. Photophosphorylation only, because in the presence of sunlight is mentioned. Okay, you have to read the question and understand. So, a small clarification here. Oxidative phosphorylation is given. Oxidative phosphorylation means in the presence of oxygen, the addition of inorganic phosphate takes place. So, it takes place during respiration. Oxidative phosphorylation takes place during respiration, and the only substrate level phosphorylation means from the substrate, means from the glucose. The substrate level phosphorylation takes place in the cytoplasm of the cell. So, it is also takes place during respiration, glycolysis process. Okay. So, during photosynthesis only photophosphorylation takes place. The right option is option A. Okay, children. Last question. Photosynthesis is a process in which carbon dioxide is reduced. Carbon dioxide is reduced means mainly Kelvin cycle. The process is called Kelvin cycle. Okay. So oxidation reduction, once again, oxidation means addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen and removal of electrons is called oxidation. And whereas reduction can be defined as the addition of hydrogen and removal of oxygen, addition of electrons is called reduction. Leo Gare, in simple you can remember Leo Gare, G-E-R. Okay, Leo means loss of electrons, oxidation, gain of electrons, reduction. Okay, children, so read the textbook and clarify your doubts with your subject teachers. If it is not available, watch the videos repeatedly, and while doing the exercise, if time allows you, you note down the question. Photosynthesis is a process in which dash, you can take carbon dioxide is reduced. It is also called carbon fixation. Like that you can write one word answers, because the question paper pattern may change in the public exam also the coming years. So start practicing. Okay, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for receiving latest updates.